Hi, welcome back everyone. My name is Rachel and I post quilting videos on this channel, usually tutorials. Today though, I'm going to talk to you about the Craft and Quilt Fair that I went to yesterday with my daughter Lila. It was in Brisbane and there were so many gorgeous quilts in the show part of the fair. So I'm going to show you some of my favorites, and then I did go shopping and I bought some fabrics. And I have a new quilt in my mind that I need to make before the summer. So I'm going to talk you through some of my options and you can tell me which option you think I should do. So first of all, the Craft and Quilt Fair was held in the Brisbane Convention Centre. So we took the bus in, first we got a coffee together and then went in, had a look at the beautiful quilts. I did get some shots. I was planning to film more, but when you're there, there's so many people and I was just really enjoying the company of my daughter and then looking at all the stalls. We went and had lunch afterwards and did some shopping, so it was a lovely day out. Let me show you my favourite quilts. We are loving the gradient on this one. The cool tones, the warm tones, and the stars in negative. Stars in negative, is that what it's called? Negative, negative space. Yeah, negative space stars. That's stunning. I really could see myself making something similar to this. I love this batiks. They're all different, but the placement of them in a gradient, superb. That is amazing. Love that. And I'm showing this one because my mum and I made one of these on our channel. So mum put hers together like this in a rainbow colour wash, whereas mine I paired with navy diamonds. These ones are a smaller block than my quilt and mum's quilt. Looks fantastic. This person's done a great job. Kathy Davies. Wonderful. I'm going to vote for this one. Beautiful muted, bright colours but muted, and this gorgeous taupe coloured background. How you say that colour? Taupe. Beautiful quilting. Free motion on a long arm, I'd imagine. Gorgeous fabric. These stars are all individual diamonds. Free motion, long arm. Yep. Received second place. Look how beautiful this is. All these flowers are made with felt applique, with hand stitching on them. Oh, they're gorgeous. That's so pretty. Absolutely adore that. I'd like to make something similar to this one day. Look how it's incorporated beautiful hand stitching and the quilting. This is gorgeous. We have pieced background, beautiful black and white fabrics, and then these flowers have free motion quilting to add texture to them, and the vase is see-through. Gauze, that's cool. Lila, look at these.
Can I get blue? So in
Liberty.
Look, little bundles. Yeah,
Oh, that's like how detail.
Yeah, I like a lot of these fabrics.
Nice. It's gorgeous.
One and done.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Pretty.
You're waiting when the fabric comes along. Good girl. Come here.
Ooh, it's nice.
You can fit one more petal in.
Oh, okay, I've moved on from that. I have tried on my domestic machine from time to time, but this is a lot easier. Uh-oh, I'm going to get caught here.
Yeah, go back out.
Okay, I'll try pebbles.
Lovely.
So usually when I go to a craft fair, a show like that, I get a bit overwhelmed with how many stalls there are and all the things, and I'm very conscious of like not spending too much money, that sort of thing. So I did only buy the 3 pieces of fabric. I didn't go overboard and buy lots of things. I'm also not the type of person to just buy fabric if I don't have a project in mind for it. I'm not really a collector of fabric like some people are, I know. I usually have to like, oh, what do I have to make in the future? What fabric do I need for that quilt? So my friend is turning 50 and she is having us over in a villa in Mexico. Extremely lucky. She's putting us all up, and I want to make a really special quilt for her to show how much I appreciate her and love her. So I did some sneaking around when I was last at her house, and I snuck into her bedroom and I took a photo of the pictures she had on her walls and the color of the bedspread and the pillows that she currently has, just so I knew like her style and what quilt would actually suit her room. She won't mind me doing that when she finds out what I've done. And so I have some inspiration, so I'm keeping that in mind with the color scheme and also the style of the quilt. So I ended up buying these 3 pieces of fabric at the stall called Hab and Fab, Haberdashery and Fabrics. I will leave the link to their online store down below so you can have a look. They sell like 1 meter lengths of fabric all piled up like that for really good prices. So some were $10, some were $12, some were $15, and some were $25. So I believe like these 2 cost $15 each, the meter, and this one was only $10. So really good value fabric. You might want to go check them out if you need some. So first of all, this beautiful colour. It's like a burnt orange colour. So it is Riley Blake Designs, and it has a tiny little white flower bunch and then some little black dot flowers and some green dots, some green leaves, so a really tiny feature, but mostly that burnt orange colour. Then I have one that's more golden or mustard in colour, and this has a little white star with some dots. And then this one, oh, was that Riley? Let's have a look at this one. Is also RileyBlakeDesigns.com. These have names. That one doesn't look like it has a name. Did this one have a name? Oh, what's here? Gentler Times by Laurie Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. Okay, so that one looks like it was a bit of a collaboration fabric. Yeah, I love that. Okay, and this blue one, it's quite a dark blue. It also has a little branch with some sort of whitey grey leaves on it. This one is, I haven't actually looked at these before now. So it says it's Marcus Fabrics, Maple House by Pam Buda of Heart Spun Quilts. So gorgeous. Yeah, I love that. Blue and yellow or orange, complementary colours together. Kind of remind me of Vincent van Gogh, those two colours together, which is a favourite of mine, so I'm quite happy with that. So I have been looking on Etsy for an appropriate quilt to do. These are my stipulations. I want it quite modern because of the recipient. I think that would suit her more. I do want curves in it. They're organic shapes rather than sharp edges, so I'm looking for a quilt with curves, and I haven't done a quilt with curves in a little while, so it's always good to practice those curves. And I want to be able to have these fabrics work with it. I'm going to pair with these fabrics some really light neutrals, creams, taupes, off-whites to go with this. I don't want it dominated by these three fabrics actually. These are going to be sort of accent colors, and I do want it a more lighter in vibe tone with these as accents. That's my idea. So the first two I wanted to show you are by Cotton and Joy Quilts. So this one here is called Reverie quilt pattern, and it has semicircles, half circles next to each other. So it's dominated by just the half circles, but you could have some of those in light fabric and others with the accent fabric. So it still could not, I wouldn't have it as full of color as these examples. I would mix and match some light tones so it would be quite subtle. I think that would be gorgeous. Another quilt by the same Etsy shop, Cotton and Joy Quilts, is called Crescent 2 quilt pattern, and again we're working with those half circles, but this time they're spaced out, so you do get more of the background fabric. So I quite like that, although that's all white, that background fabric, and if I want to have various tones of pale fabric, it might look a bit clunky with that one. But see how they have also left out some areas where there isn't a half circle, so that is quite interesting. There's nothing stopping me from doing that with the other quilt though, is there? So those two are contenders. Which one of those two? But don't vote yet. I've got a couple more. I need your help, you guys. Another one I really like is by Ediamonia Studio Shop. That is tricky to say, and I've probably said it wrong. So this one has elongated ovals as well as what I'm going to describe as like racetracks, roads, and some are in ovals and some are in like a swirl. So I really quite like that a lot. I think with these, because you could accent those strips as these fabrics and everything else be those light tones that I was talking about. So that one is quite good. I really like how that is a lot more varied, so it's not so uniform, a little bit more interesting. It does mimic her wall hangings a bit better than the others. I think the fact that the colors that are shown on the Etsy shop are very bright, so it's throwing me. If it was more just subtle, I think it could look very elegant. Yeah, I like that one. I also like how some of those lines go right to the edge of the quilt. Very interesting. That's a very interesting quilt and very modern. I like that one. Okay, and my fourth one I wanted to show you is this one. It's tulips and it has little leaves, so it's less abstract and like it's more an actual item, the tulips. I like the simplicity of it though. I like how each tulip you could have different colors, so you could have a tulip that is these two, and then you could have a tulip that is those two, for example, and mix and match those. The leaves, I like how they've done them in grey. I like that I could do them subtle. How do I feel about this one? I would want to make it the leaves subtle and some of those petals match the background a little bit more, so it was less obvious that it was tulips and a bit more abstract. Definitely could be doable. Again, the whole of the background is one colour, which I was hoping to have a few more shades. So quite gorgeous. However, it's probably not the one I'm going to choose unless you guys really love that one. I'm leaning towards that third one I showed you. Let me know in the comments which one you like. So that's exciting because planning a new quilt and starting and cutting the fabric is so much fun. But I know what you're thinking. I haven't bound my last quilt yet, so I'm actually going to try and start that this week and film for you, just to remind you I've been working on this one. Let's try and not get it in the flame, shall we? This beautiful flannelette back, stars. This one here, stars. That's what we have to do next video. So this afternoon I might just start cutting my strips ready for that 2.5-inch strips and working out what colour so that I can film how to bind your quilt. I hope you've all had a lovely week, and I hope you have a lovely week coming up, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for sharing your time with me. Bye everyone.